Sieh nicht so langweilig aus.
Okay.
Du musst lächeln. Vergiss nicht, Papa muss essen.
I know.
Papa muss essen.
Can I begin this video?
Okay, action.
What's cracking, guys? Omar Isaf here, back with another video. This one's important, so sit down. If you're standing up, sit back down. If you're sitting down, stand back up. I want to talk today about delayed gratification. My Team No Fapstronauts are going to enjoy this. Team No Nut November, even though it's December. You don't stop when you get that rock.
I got a rock.
I want to talk about moderation. I want to talk about competence building confidence and how to get to your goal. Why there's a difference between the signal and the noise. And sometimes we get a little too neurotic with some of our goals, and I'll give multiple examples. So in the first place, when I did this body transformation, I'm gonna show you guys right now. These days, when I tend to train, I do wear a size large. I know, I left Baby Gap, and I'm surprised, just like you. Wear a size large, do my damn thing. I'm not checking myself out in the mirror. If you notice how I wear a t-shirt versus when I take photos, there's a large difference. And I kind of enjoy that, knowing that I've made progress. I'm lean right now. I've actually only gained about a pound after those photos that you saw. So I can do another damn photo shoot anytime I want, but I like it that it's just for me. So when I walk around, I kind of train now in a t-shirt. There's multiple reasons. One of them, I do like training in a stringer, and there's nothing wrong training in a stringer or a tank or anything like that. I want to talk about the idea of constantly checking yourself in the mirror for validation. The same idea when we talk about eating for individuals where, you know, what's the instant gratification? Eating a pizza feels good, right? Makes you feel good in the short term, but in the long term, it doesn't get you to your goals. Similar idea, I notice some bros check themselves out too often in the mirror. And bro, set to set, there's not gonna be a huge difference. I'm not saying you can't admire your physique or try and evaluate progress, but signal versus noise, if you're constantly trying to evaluate yourself every set, every 10 minutes, there's no large change, you're gonna be disappointed because you're trying to look for something that's not there. The equivalent would be if you were to weigh yourself, I think daily weigh-ins, if you don't get attached to your actual weight, is perfectly fine. It's actually more accurate because you could take something called the weekly daily average. But what if you were to weigh yourself every hour? Would that be helpful? Would that be a helpful metric? No. Sometimes too much data, if it's not informative towards the larger whole, can actually just be noise instead of the signal. And so I notice sometimes bros do this, right? What do they gotta do? They gotta get the right shirt, they gotta get it pumped, they gotta look a certain way, they'll wear a hoodie before they get it pumped, then they'll take it off, and they have this idea in their head of how they have to look, and if they don't live up to that in that moment, they're disappointed, rather than understanding that your body fluctuates day to day, hour to hour, whether or not you're rocking that citrulline malate and you're extravascular in your forearms. There's a lot of different factors. So you can't be evaluating yourself every 10 minutes. It's not helpful. And so the concept of delayed gratification is similar across the board. And I think these days, once again, I call it the Instagramification of society as a whole, where we want that immediate validation. Okay, I did it set. Oh, do I have a try? Oh, I don't, right? And that's what's kind of cool. When you do it for yourself, this entire journey that I went on, I did share with you guys, and there's nothing wrong with being proud of your progress. I can't stress that out enough. I like wearing stringers just like any other bro. But there is a limit, and that's why we talk about moderation. So delayed gratification can be very useful. That's why I think a lot of different religion societies, they had the concept of fasting. So the idea of asceticism, so not aesthetics, asceticism, a discipline through denial of something. And that's why I'm joking. We talk about those no nut November boys. But dieting is kind of something similar, right? You're saying no to the immediate short-term pleasure. You're emerging through your struggles, through resisting eating that food, into a better form, so a more determined, a more dedicated, a more disciplined individual. Hopefully at the end, you don't binge at the end of that journey, you reach that end destination, and that long-term gratification that fills kind of your soul, you're like, yeah man, I did something I'm proud of, is so much more than that immediate reward. So we understand that. The same could be said about transforming your body. You know, I've read now some historical accounts of Muscletown, USA, it's called. There's multiple different ones. So York Barbell, which was in the 1930s, how lifters would train and how, you know, yeah, once again, they would take a look at themselves after they're done training. They'd evaluate themselves in the mirror, but it wasn't set by set. And so the culture has imperceptibly shifted over time. And again, there's nothing wrong checking out a muscle working in the mirror, but I see and I've heard and I've received the DMs of bros. It's like, bro, I've been training for a month and I don't notice progress. And I think to myself, it's only been a month. You need to be on this journey. You need to be about this life to stick through with it. And I think that's what I'd say. Ultimately, training in weights is kind of boring, right? And that's why when I show my training, it's realistic. Is it boring? Probably. But is it what you need to do? Absolutely. And so for some people, I think really it's coded language when people say, oh, naturals can't make progress. What they're trying to say is I don't have patience to get proper results because I got a 375 bench, I got a 600-pound deadlift, I have a 500-pound squat. You can likely get more than that if you train hard enough. But that's a standard that's been set that I think is very achievable for everyone. The physique that I got, I think everyone watching this, if you're dedicated, you train long enough, you can absolutely achieve it. So I'm not trying to give anything not realistic. And so it might seem boring, but that's the path to personal fulfillment, attaining the goals that you want, and actually doing the damn thing. You're not about the life if you're constantly looking for that validation, if you're checking yourself out in the mirror, like I said that before. And so sometimes we just gotta be perfectly transparent. And in a recent Iron Culture episode, paraphrasing here, but Eric Helms, and that's something that I noticed, Eric Helms and Alberto Nunez, I actually can safely say, are two of the most disciplined individuals I've encountered when it comes to training. No nonsense, they don't need music, maybe they throw on music, whatever they do, but they're focused, laser-like focus. And you know what? They're bodybuilders, meaning they compete. This is what they want to do on top of other things, but they're not constantly checking themselves in the mirror. They're putting in the work, and maybe at the end of the session, they're taking a look, okay, how's this looking? And then they go on from there, right? But Eric Helms said in our episode on moderation that balance, if we take the literal definition, is a fine balance on a narrow position in between two other positions that you're trying to resist forces on either side. So you're walking in between extremes. That's the concept of moderation. So the idea that there is such a thing as doing too little, and there's definitely a thing doing too much. So when we talk about overall the signal versus the noise, you want to make sure you're not paying attention to the noise. And ultimately, I think you'll be happier because again, if we're to weigh ourselves every single hour, it's not a useful metric. Every day, there can be some utility. Every week, well, here we go. Same idea when it comes to strength, right? It kind of works like a wave. That's why sometimes when I get some beginners to talk about, man, I'm not getting stronger. It's only been a month, buddy. Patience. Delayed gratification, that's what's up. And that's why I posted, you see kind of like what I look day to day, and then yeah, what I look like in a photo shoot. There's no way of making that before 7 of me just in a t-shirt look jacked, because that's just, you know, that's the average. And then we see the peak when I actually determine to peak for a particular day. So I don't look like that every single day. I still look honestly pretty much in the exact same shape, but that's a different image entirely. Anyways, I gotta get out of here. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully this helps you guys out a lot. We're thinking about long-term progress. If you enjoyed the video, if you found it useful, make sure to like the damn video. Did you hear that earthquake?
Yeah.
Fuck, it's fucking earthquake in here. Like the damn video, and I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next one. Severin, we need to talk because in the previous video, I wanna apologize. I called you fat.
I'm never good.
You're fucking fat. And I should have said that you're big boned. Do you want to show a physique update?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I think you should. I think, go ahead, man. Show an update. So I'm noticing a little bit more definition kind of around the serratus. But that's all all I'm willing to say at this time. Yeah.
Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.